have me, Scared Yet, alongside me, one of the fan favorite out there, Missy Jenny. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Oh, fan favorite. I did not see that coming. Oh, that was a little too much, by the way, but thank you anyway. Okay, the band's about
Yet
to
again,
start.
it's all blue up against a cat. Suki, we're gonna be having so much fun watching all of these games. Yet again, these players are the ones that we have seen previously perform phenomenally. Crisis on that marksman role. Mintley normally plays the mage as well. Sonic in that jungle. This team, even yesterday we saw, lost the first game, that to barely, almost making an epic comeback. But after that, was able to quickly move inside and steal that victory away from their opponents. And imagine you're down 1 and 0 in a quarterfinals, and even after that, you're able to pull off a reverse sweep. That's exactly what you love to see. Matilda, Diggy, Joy being banned out. But from the other side, Akatsuki, this team secured a very easy 2-0 sweep over their opponent. So they are having a very solid momentum in their favor. And also taking over the CC Xbog Novaria clearly seems to be where they want to pick maybe a Vixana.
Hmm. Well, for Team Akatsuki, I've noticed that Arin actually goes for Fredrin, and they have prioritized that pick even in the past matches, and they are really good with it, and they have not banned Fredrin yet. So, although right now All Blue does have the first pick, and they are snatching that Fredrin away from Arin.
It was understandable, right? Since Xbox was banned out, so you kind of knew, you always saw it coming. But there's the thing, Akatsuki, I'm also expecting them to potentially take Akai in their own jungle. Maybe they could go for Basha. We actually saw Basha being banned out, and it has been pretty prevalent if you're talking about the sea area, maybe Philippines, Malaysia, or even Indonesia. They kind of love to pick that Basha. But I still feel, just as I mentioned, since they banned out the Novaria, Vixana was going to be on the table, but now I feel Mintley could eventually pick up the Lilia.
That would be a good choice. Also, Barat is still open, as is Gary. I feel like against Fredrin, Barat would be a good hyper. But meanwhile, you should also have to take care of Gary. You should make sure either you have it or ban her because she can be a trouble. So, yeah, okay, they're actually going for Gary this time. So I'm expecting that after the Gary being picked, they would either go for a Barat or an Akai hyper.
Yep, understandable. I still feel Anakai would eventually bring out a lot on your table because you can go in for the
Mm.
re-engage with the heavy spins, disengage as well if in case the fight is not in your favor. Plus, let's be honest, their team, they kind of play around that tanky jungle pretty well. And the same could be said
Mm-hmm.
for Sonic. But as you mentioned, Gary being picked up on one side, oh my God. I was anticipating a Minotaur, but Harith is something that I really did not see coming, and that is picked by Crisis, so you know it's going in the gold lane.
Hmm. Harry Golan against Gary. I don't think how good that will be because I have played Gary against Harry Golan. It was pretty easy for me though to counter, like to fully melt that Harry. Am I audible? Scared yet?
Hmm. I mean, I was just still staying put for a few seconds and thinking as to why Akatsuki actually went with the Estes pick. I'll be honest. I mean, you really need to have those pauses in between, really fathom as to what's going in the draft itself, because there's a Minotaur on the other side, Jenny, if you can see. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't really feel Anestis would be the best pick in slot, specifically when a Minotaur really wants your team to be together. So in the banning phases, we could see the Barats being banned out. Dereth was taken away by Akatsuki. That means they would eventually pick up the Yuzhong for their own EXP lane. But since the Barats has been taken off, I believe All Blue will also ban out the Akai. That does seem to be a pretty solid ban in this situation and would also deny those options of the tanky jungle and will potentially force Akatsuki to pick maybe a Basha in there.
Mm, I feel like Akai is gonna be a better option, and Estes against Minotaur, I will might actually work if he's using a Purify, just Purify and then ult and that's healing everyone. Might actually work, and like I said, that they might go for a Barats hyper. Barats is out of option. It's banned, and I'm expecting an Akai ban.
That's what I just said. You're just stealing my
Yeah.
lines away. Huh. But I really like the ban of Akatsuki. They banned out Lilia, realizing that Mintley, he kind of likes to play that Lilia. So they've already banned it away. They're just choking down the options of all blue in this case. And let's be honest, if Mintley picks up the Valentina, all blue is winning this game until and unless they do a massive mess up, because they will be stealing away Blessing of the Moon Goddess. If in case they want the defense, they could steal away the Eternal Guard from Ixana. This would be such a phenomenal pick for all blue if they pick up a Valentina right now.
But they're going for a Javier instead, and he deals a lot of damage. And with the given front line, he would actually be doing good. But you know
Wow.
where Akatsuki went wrong, according to me, is they already had a tank. I mean, All Blue already had their tank, so they could have gone for either Barats or Akai instead of Esses, which could have been picked later as well. And seems like they are just left with the Roger option. What else do you have in mind, Scared, instead of the Roger?
I'll be honest. I mean, as you've already mentioned about was the EXP, it's Lapu Lapu that Hollow has picked up. But
Mhm.
I was really hoping for a Yuzhong, but it's kind of obvious that Akatsuki would eventually pick a Yuzhong. But Mincetar could be a very good pick. Or maybe if they want, they can also pick up the Phobias because there are so many dashes on the other side. He'll be having those bonks almost non-stop. Yeah, I like to call it bonks rather than the demonic force. I like to call it bonks. I'll be calling it bonks if we see a Phobius being picked up. Please pick up a Phobius. Nah, it's just gonna be a Yuzhong. I predicted it, and it's again a Yuzhong. A pretty simple, straightforward draw, but I really wanted to see a Valentina, I'll be honest.
Um, I guess they should say sorry to disappoint you. Anyways, I feel like Yu Jung is gonna be a good option to go and grab the backline that Javier, especially because he's not gonna come in front. And yeah, Phobius would have been a good pick, but I have to agree, I haven't seen Phobius in the recent tournaments at all. Have you? Hello, Scared? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Again, as I've mentioned, I'm still feeling pretty dual-sided. I think so. All Blue has actually got the better draw. What do you think, Jenny?
Mm, I don't know. Honestly, both the drops are balanced. It actually for Akatsuki it depends if Estes can make it. If Estes can avoid the Minotaur's ultimate Minion Fury, or he can, obviously not every time he's gonna have the Purify. So yeah, in that case, I actually like the all blue draft a little better. Anyways, moving towards the game, they're just going on towards the buff. I don't know what's wrong with Scared. He seems a little off today, and he's leaving me hanging most of the time. Like it's the third time already. I'm sure not in some sort of trouble. You can text me anyways. All right. So it seems like Minotaur is going towards the goal lane to help that Harriet since Gary has been getting support from Estes. Gary, can you hear me?
Of course, I can hear you. I always just want to pull your leg, and that's exactly what's happening right now. I
Okay.
mean, the amount of trauma that you've given me pre-stream segment while also explaining how your logic works. I just wanted to make sure that in the game segment you are the one who's got to do most of the talking. But all right, I'm not gonna do that anymore. We'll be jumping in again. It's the Harris end towards the goal lane. Now, I remember that we've seen it previously, but wait a second, Mintley, you cannot run away from like and pounds. Let's be honest, that was not the best possible decision out there. He wanted to actually go in for an early aggressive gank in that bush, but it was eventually a death bush set up already from Akatsuki. So they draw that first blood. Now Roger into the jungle. They made it work previously, and it worked out wonderfully well. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. JD but Diff is playing in with Noel right now towards the bottom as well. His mind has got to run backwards just because of that poke that he was sustaining. Lynx will also make sure he's getting his own cannon minion. Now, if in case we talk about the scaling, we know that Roger is going to be aggressive over towards that early game, and that's exactly where Sonic would also love to go in for his own engages. And since Roger has to close in the distance, I think so Sonic will actually have a very solid time, specifically considering how Ube strategy works. There we go. Land Shaker comes into the play, but Flicker has been expended already. Is the Lapu Lapu. You really do not want to go in for those engages, as Hollow will be just soaking up every bit of damage. It's just a free turtle for all blue.
Yep. Seems like the early game's going in quite well for them. Erin dealing a lot of damage to Fred. The Sonic might as well go down, but that's a Razor Shred coming in. Double kill on the Roger and S test already. Minion Fury. Okay, no, not Minion Fury. What was that? That's a lot of CC coming in. Who was that? Okay. Wait, Skater, did I miss it? Did Minotaur use Minion Fury or what happened?
Yeah, you kind of missed it. It was just a full-on dump of ultimate. So what was the bot as well? Salmon Force used up by Crisis. But again, you really need those cooldown reduction items, right? I want to see his build as of now because I normally go in with that hero ring first and make sure that I've got the Azure Blade to get that extra bit of CD so that I could just spam my dash in my ultimate. But as of now, Lynx is the one who's grabbing the attention of Hollow, who's got his ultimate. He's not actually got his ultimate up. This is a death burst setup. He's going to be taken down. Wait a second. A timing on that ult, but the deadly grass was there by making sure that Hollow is finished off from the inside. And he cannot get any kind of anti-CC perfection as of now. Sonic jumping in over towards Noel as well. He would eventually be taken down. Retry has been used. The blessing of the moon goddess comes into play. Appraiser's wrath, but it does not catch anyone. Noel will be able to run away. That is such a brilliant performance coming in, but yeah, massive mess up from the side of all blue as well. That was such a well calculated gang, but over towards the blue is where we might potentially see the next engage. No blessing of the moon goddess, so you know as soon as the Minoan Fury comes in, it's gonna be super troublesome. Hey, we'll have to run away. There comes in the black dragon form. Over towards the backline as well. Zaman force by Crisis takes down Noel just as quickly, but now he's all alone out there in the enemy lines. Over towards Link Simp as well. He wants to go over on Sonic, and the Shy Essence will help him get back some of that HP. But look at the amount of damage that has been dealt. It's Puppy Strike for Noel, tank for a tank, Roamer for a Roamer. Sonic is pretty low in that HP, so he'll have to go for the recall. Turtle Pit priority will go for Akatsuki.
Well, like I told you, he's not always gonna have the Purify. He's not always gonna have that blessing. Well, he did save Gary once with that blessing of the Moon Goddess, but that was not gonna happen every time. And Minotaur got him this time. No, actually, it wasn't even Minotaur. It was Crisis, right? He already took him out of the scene. Meanwhile, Hollow might get into trouble once again, but he managed to escape with that flicker this time. And, well, they're already starting a fight at Turtle. Seems like there will be a contest.
Indeed, it seems to be a situation as Lynx, he jumps in inside. Turtle has been taken away easily by Sonic. Does not matter. Princess Wrath comes in, catches no one absolutely, but that one stun was immense. You really need the infinite extension to land up as of now, but as soon as that combo will start to do damage, you know, if in case you stay together in an Ube in front of Papi Shrek with the Minoan Fury, you will be demolished instantly along with all that burst damage that's going to come in from the Mystic Field. I still feel if in case Akatsuki are able to get that early snowball in, their early damage in, they would be able to get a massive win in this game. Just like how All Blue has basically got a massive win over towards top as well, having the priority in their hand. Hollow will not have any major problem. Crisis as well on the Harith will deal immense damage in the late game, but there we go. Minoan Fury, where is it? I really want to see it. There comes in the Minoan Fury. Noel has been taken down, and now Roger has to run away. Aaron ran away at this point, could not stay in there any longer because Sonic was also there. Now, this is the main problem. If there's a Minotaur on your side, you really do not want to pick up an Estes to face a Minotaur because with the Estes, you all will stick together, and that's the perfect situation for Minotaur, for Sonic, for Hollow, for Crisis, for Mintley. I mean, all of them will deal so much AoE damage.
Exactly. I just saw that happen. And by the way, what was Noel doing in the last gang? Like he just came in front and he was just right between them. Was that a mistake or was that intentional?
So it could be a potential gank setup which they really wanted to go forward with, but it just did not work out for their side. That's what I feel.
Okay. So like Sonic is chasing Lynx, but he might get himself into trouble. There are armor people over there. Arian running away from Hollow. Sonic goes straight in, expecting it. Okay, he did not.
And again, as we see, Eternal Guard just chunking down the players of All Blue a little bit. It does not even matter at this point because their mid is almost taken out. They will eventually be facing all of the troubles, and it all comes down to the draft. I'm saying it. Even if Mintley does not have the Valentina, it's absolutely fine because apart from Link Sims, I don't think so anyone would be able to close in that distance. Yeah, Aaron, you could argue he can jump in with the like and pounce, but let's be honest, with the amount of crowd control that's coming on the opposite side, you really do not want to jump behind the enemy lines in this case. Sonic will have a free time over the turtle as over towards the top is where Hollow will eventually try to make sure that his turret is safe. Goes in with the Landshaker as well along with the bravest fighters. Needs to run away. Gets a two-man stun as well. But now there comes in the damage as well. A good support coming in from the Darling Light. And now he actually goes in for the chase. But maybe that's a little too much overzealous. There comes in the infinite extension. But does not matter. L was stopped for only a few seconds. Aiden was able to secure a pick. But look at the bot side. It has been destroyed.
Exactly. They took the opportunity to push, and they did not. Hollow did not expect that Vexana to come up again, and that's what happening. Seems like I guess this was the third time that he got off guard, and Vexana got to him and used the Eternal Guard, and he got destroyed.
I mean, there's just my dad's scolding me out there. Super fun. Either ways, yeah, I know you can laugh in the background, Jenny. It's fine. We all know we get scolded by our parents, and honestly, that's what is actually super fun to watch out for. But this is definitely not fun for Akatsuki. They're losing members left, right, and center. Blessing of the Moon Goddess was able to save them for a few seconds, but look at where Crisis is playing on the Harif with the vengeance. That does not stop, but the backline is now being threatened by Aiden. It's Hollow that he's targeting, does not matter. Like and Pounce is on cooldown. A couple of trades going back and forth, but you could argue that Akatsuki have got a very solid advantage from that previous fight. Even in a situation where I arguably saw them potentially going down, Blessing of the Moon Goddess definitely did save them. Now I want to see some important dominance ice items coming in from not just one, but Sonic, Papi, as well as Hollow.
They actually overextended in the middle, and they took the risk, and they went in too far inside the turret and took a lot of turret damage. Actually, otherwise, they would not have lost a gang with all the resources that they have. The Lord spawning in just a few seconds, and we will be seeing a great fight. They will have to, Noel will have to try and bait out that Minotaur's minion Fury, which I guess it'll be hard. Sonic has already started the Lord. They are all in position. Hollow not letting them come anywhere near the Lord. So I guess there won't be much of a contest.
I mean, they're just taking the Lord at this point, as you've already mentioned. All Blue, they're having a blast basically because their composition is a very late game composition. Crisis along with Mintley, they'll be dealing immense damage over in the late game. And since Crisis is running on that vengeance, he'll basically be diving in over towards that backline without any troubles, without any problem, because there is no one to actually crowd control him apart from L. And I feel that it's L, maybe it's A, but there we go. The gang potentially come in. Lynx will have to jump away, but the Blessing of the Moon Goddess has been posed out. Papi will eventually finished off. Like and Pounce was connected onto him, but it does not matter. There we go. Crisis jumps in along with the Zaman Force in between 5 people, and he's taking so much damage. He takes one. Benke 2 as well. Will it be a third? And yes, it will be a triple kill for this man. Absolutely mind-blowing performance, and make the consolation in the hands of Hollow, as Lynx is the only one alive who'll eventually have to run away, but he'll not be allowed to do so. No Black Dragon Prom for this man as of now. Taunt comes in. Sonic will be making sure that he's dealing as much damage as possible because everyone is pushing from over the top side to end the game itself. People will be moving back in just a couple of more seconds, but that's enough time that Sims had to buy. Link Sims, Blessing of the Moon Goddess comes in, a little bit of an overextension on their side. Sonic has already used up the Appraiser's Wrath, but it's up yet again. Aiden, I don't think so, he's got an idea of it, and there comes in the burst from the Appraiser's Wrath. He jumps in as well, knocked up already by Eternal Guard. So we will see the disengage coming in, but all top inhibitor taken down. I think so that's already a pretty big win for All Blue.
Oh my god, they have to be so very careful of Crisis now. I just saw what he did and I was like, what? I was shocked. I did not expect that. I thought that Gary was gonna melt him, but that shield, it kept on coming every time he dashes. right? and and with every basic attack, with I don't know if that's actually basic attack. I haven't played Harriet. That was dealing a lot of damage. Like it was like taking half of their HP down.
I mean, half is just the bare minimum that you mentioned, but honestly, I
Mm.
am being surprised by the plays that Crisis is making. He just pops in the Zaman Force and clicks on Vengeance and keeps on dashing in. That is all he's doing. And in that duration, JD cannot attack him, Aaron cannot attack him, Lynx is busy keeping his attention on Hollow as well as Mintley or maybe Sonic. On the other end of the spectrum, L, after using the Eternal Guard and all of the remaining skills, is basically useless in those situations because the Eternal Guard kind of normally misses the knockup on Crisis because he's just dashing around so much. And because of that vengeance, he's tanking every single thing. And that one burst of damage that comes in onto the members of Akatsuki, they're facing so many problems. And I've already mentioned it. If it goes to late game, All Blue is winning it, no matter what, no matter how you look in the situation. Because their entire draft is a full-on counter draft of what Akatsuki are bringing on the table. Ube does not work against a lot of AoE damage dealers, and there we go. Well, seems to be in trouble. Blessing of the Moon Goddess already popped in, and no one now will eventually be healed from it. That's what they wanted. Preload for themselves.
Yeah, they don't have any opening to come up. Actually, Gary trying to push top lane, but oh, she might get caught up if she doesn't. If she don't recall there. Crisis already trying. I thought he was gonna chase Erin, but okay, never mind. I guess they're just gonna try and go with the Lord and end it smoothly right now.
Oh,
Are you playing?
Jenny, Jenny,
Yeah.
just answer me one quick question. Do you think it will be a Lord defense or is it a wipe out and end?
I think they will be able to defend. Yep, they have the
Oh,
Vexana.
I think
Yeah,
so. It's
the
gonna be an end. I
Belguard,
think so. It's gonna be
Blessing,
an
everything.
end
Oh,
because there we go. The Dawning Light connecting already. Link Sims will jump in towards the back with the Black Dragon form, but there's Mintley nowhere to be found. That's a good knockup coming in, maybe. But look, Simino and Fury, and it's done and dusted. There is no way they'll be able to survive on the back of this. Drawn comes in on Aiden as well, who'll eventually be jumping directly back on his crystal, dodges the Appraiser's Wrath, and is getting a consolation. But look at the amount of damage. There's the burst from Mintley that we were talking about, and it's a wrap up.
but it's too soon. I wanted them to defend. It was like it was starting to get a little bit more interesting, but yeah,
Nah, it's
never mind.
possible with
I
that
just
draw.
say.
I told
Wait,
you
that
it's not
was smooth.
possible with
All
that
Blue
draw.
played it really smooth. They won the draft. They won the
Yep.
gangs. Yeah, I actually thought that Estes might be able to pull it off with the heal. I guess that was their initial plan, that they'll just pick Estes and they'll just heal it all whenever Minotaur is using this ultimate. But that's not gonna happen. And like I told you while in the draft, instead of Estes, they should have gone for Akai or Barat at that moment when they already had the chance. Because I mean, All Blue already had a tank. What was the rush in taking Estes?
I mean, I think so. They just wanted to go in for that Ube strategy, but here's the
Mm-hmm.
thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to pick an Ube against a Minotaur, and you clearly saw why. You clearly saw
Yeah,
the
I did.
reason. Yeah, so that's the entire scenario that we basically have right now. Again, we have been witnessing the way how Ube works is every single player sticks together, and all those single players include Aaron, JD, and Noel. And those are the
Mhm.
main core damage dealers for the side of Akatsuki. Lynx is the only one who will jump onto Mintley and will try to gain that aggressive attention. But Crisis, the way he just ignored Lynx entirely and jumped in between three people, he knew that the damage from Mintley's infinite extension as well as the mystic field will be there. They will be stopped in their tracks. Dawning Light will connect. And if not the entire Minoan Fury, at least one knocker by Papi will also be present. Sonic, it's his job to make sure that Lynx is not making those knocker plays on Crisis. And he was having such a fun time with the vengeance over in that backline. JD was entirely shut down in this game and went in for the endless battle golden staff along with the thunder belt. They went in for the Sea Halberd, but as I mentioned, it did not even matter. And once Hollow secured his dominant size, he secured his own dominant size, it was a done deal. It was a dusted scenario because Mentley, with that necklace of Deadens, all of them were able to make sure that even if one falls, that anti-heal effect will be in place. So Noel was denied of every single positive help that he could offer to his team. Aaron went in for his own Trinity build, but just as I mentioned, it did not even matter because that's what a Sonic wants. He wants you to jump over on him so that he can land in those taunts. But at the end of the day, it was a pretty fun game to watch, but I really want to see some changes in the draw by the side of Akatsuki in the next game itself. And in order to witness that, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to stay tuned. So make sure to hit that like button and click on the follow button. We will be back after this short break.